candidates. Today we are going to discuss the relationship between rank, grade or pay grade, and insignia or rank insignia. Also mention billets briefly, though I'll save an extended conversation about billets for another video. You'll get official classes on all of these topics at OCS, but I'll give you the layman's version here and provide you with some graphics. So let's begin with some definitions. Rank is the title of a Marine's place in the Marine Corps hierarchy and is also the conversational name associated with each pay grade. Generally speaking, the higher the rank, the more authority a Marine of that rank possesses. There are three basic groups in the Marine Corps rank structure: enlisted officers, and between them you have warrant officers who are prior enlisted Marines who become highly specialized officers. These groups have further subdivisions that we'll discuss later. The nature of the hierarchy in the Marine Corps is that warrant officers outrank enlisted Marines, and officers outrank warrant officers and enlisted Marines, and that's regardless of tenure. Grade or pay grade is an administrative code that determines how much a Marine gets paid. Each pay grade is tied to a rank, starting with E1 for private, E2 for private, first class, and so on. The pay grade for enlisted Marines is denoted with an E. For warrant officers, it's a W, and for officers, it's an O. Then there's a slight wrinkle for enlisted Marines who have served more than 4 years and are then commissioned as officers. They have an E after their officer pay grade up until they reach O4, which is a major. So, for example, a prior enlisted Marine who gets commissioned as a second lieutenant would have a pay grade of O1E. And finally, rank insignia is a symbol that signifies a Marine's rank and is worn on all of that Marine's uniforms. The enlisted insignia consists of chevrons, rockers, and a centerpiece, most commonly crossed rifles. On their camouflage utilities, the insignia is worn in a matte black finish. Study the following video to ensure that you can make out the different ranks. At OCS, the sergeant instructors and platoon sergeants will be staff sergeants or gunnery sergeants, but you will interact with other enlisted Marines. Warrant officers and officers wear shiny insignia that is fairly simple to distinguish, as you'll see in the following graphics. First, let's take a look at the enlisted ranks. I've included the other branches of the military to show you that the rank and pay grade structure is analogous throughout the DoD. Now, the Coast Guard is technically part of the Department of Homeland Security, but I've included them here. You'll notice that insignia and rank vary from service to service, though there is some overlap. Take some time to familiarize yourself with the ranks, pay grades, and insignias of the Marine Corps. Some things to note about the Marine Corps enlisted ranks. First, the first three ranks are generally and unofficially referred to as junior Marines. Corporals and sergeants are non-commissioned officers or NCOs, and staff sergeants and above are staff NCOs or SNCOs. Second, you'll notice that there are multiple ranks in the E8 and E9 pay grades. That's because a gunnery sergeant can take one of two paths. Gunnery sergeant can be promoted to a master sergeant and then promoted to a master gunnery sergeant, or to a first sergeant and then a sergeant major. For a more detailed breakdown of these two paths and the warrant officer path, which is also open to enlisted Marines, see the notes in the video description. Third, I'll also note that the Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps is technically in E9, but only one Marine holds this rank at any given time. The Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps is the senior enlisted advisor to the Commandant of the Marine Corps. Next, let's look at the officer ranks. The officer corps is broken up into company grade, field grade, and general officers. Because the Marine Corps falls under the Navy, I'll also mention that the equivalent officer groupings in the Navy are called junior grade, mid-grade, and flag officers. Mind this rule, which applies to officer and warrant officer insignias. Silver is senior to gold. For ranks with similar insignias, the silver insignias correspond with the higher rank. Finally, here is a ditty to remember the general ranks. Lastly, we'll look at warrant officer insignias. Remember, silver is senior to gold. Also, the last Air Force warrant officer retired in 1980, and the Air Force no longer uses the warrant officer ranks. There are a few miscellaneous points that I'll mention concerning rank insignias as a primer for TBS. First, officers have subdued rank insignias for use in the field. It's the same shape, but with a matte finish. At TBS, you'll need to get them for your field exercises. Second, certain chief warrant officers, known as gunners, wear a bursting bomb on their left collar. All warrant officers go through a 3-month condensed version of TBS at the TBS campus. Third, midshipmen are students at the Naval Academy or NROTC who are attempting to become Marine officers. They have not yet been commissioned, but they do wear shiny insignia. They have an official rank, but basically carry as much weight as candidates. They use the TBS campus for part of their training program, so you may see them there as well during the summer. As far as addressing Marines, the rules are as follows. Enlisted Marines are always addressed by their rank. Officers senior to you, which at OCS will be all of them, are addressed by sir or ma'am, respectively. Officers junior or equal to you are addressed by their rank. You'll get more on this at OCS, but use that as a baseline. I'll wrap up this video with a quick look at billets. A billet is essentially a job in the Marine Corps. Each unit in the Marine Corps has an approved list of billets that the Marine Corps manpower system attempts to fill with a Marine of the right rank and MOS. Each billet in a unit comes with a set of responsibilities for that given post at that given command. The reason I mention it here is because sometimes billets use verbiage from the rank structure. For example, at OCS, you will have a company gunnery sergeant who has administrative responsibilities for your company. This billet is typically filled by an actual gunnery sergeant, but it could also be filled by a staff sergeant or a Marine of another rank if circumstances require. Today we have discussed rank, grade, and insignia, and briefly billets. I'm now confident that you will be able to effectively navigate your way around the Marine Corps hierarchy on paper and in person. If you have any questions about these topics or about anything else OCS or Marine Corps related, let me know via direct message or in the comments below. And remember, it is not about you. Take care.